What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we're going to talk about the best way or the best counters you guys can have for Bronzor. As Bronzor in the Little Cup, which is coming on Monday for Season 5 of Go Battle League, is going to be the toughest Pokemon that you guys will be facing off against. It's #1 ranked on PvPoke, and I imagine it's going to be everywhere. So if you guys are having trouble countering this thing, this video will definitely be able to help you out. Now, as we can see here, Bronzor has 4 weaknesses. That's going to be Dark, Fire, Ghost, and Ground. Now, we did put an asterisk over on the side for that Fire and Ghost, and that is due to the damage that Bronzor can put out with Confusion to those pure types, maybe a pure Ghost or a pure Fire. Now, if you have a Fire Dark, maybe something like Houndour, that'll really help out because Dark is going to be resisting Confusion. And as we take a look at the meta breakdown here of Bronzor versus the meta, that's a lot of wins. That's a 93% win rate, which is why I said you guys need to be prepared to counter this thing. And do not worry, there are some great counters and you guys will see it here. And as we're scrolling through here, you guys can see there are a lot of great counters. Basically, you want hard-hitting Dark type moves or Fire type moves, and if you're that Ghost Pokemon, you have to be landing those charge moves, something like a Shadow Ball. But overall, I think there's a lot of really good options that can beat this thing. Houndour, Murkrow, Stunky Shadow, Diglett, Alolan, Vulpix, Meowth, Poochyena, which we are going to run today. The list goes on and on. Now, the Fires, as you can see, they're starting to get closer to becoming a tie or losing, and that's due to them taking quite a bit of damage from Confusion, like we did mention earlier. Alright, so we're going to run into some battles here. These battles were done on live stream last night over on Twitch, so shout out to everyone who turned up there for these battles. Thank you for stopping by. But what we're going to see is we're basically going to showcase each of the Pokemon here and show what they can do against the Bronzor here. So on the lead, we have Seal versus a Lickitung, which actually kind of stinks for us as we are running Lick ourselves, which is going to be resisted because of the normal typing right there. But I really don't want to switch out of this matchup. Power Whip is going to be coming through, and it does super effective damage, which is tough, but I'm hoping I can get to another Icy Wind in time, and sadly I cannot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring in that Darumaka right here. We have 2 counters to Bronzor, so if my opponent decides to bring a Bronzor into this match, we have a great opportunity to win endgame. We're going to go ahead and shield the Power Whip right here. Wasn't sure if they had another charge move or what it was going to be because Lickitung is new for this meta, but we are going to be able to commit to the farm down right here, which is great. We have Flame Charge, which does quite a bit of damage, and it's also going to be boosting the attack of our Pokemon. So we're going to go ahead and throw the Flame Charge right here. As you can see, that's resisted, and that did a lot of damage. We're just going to commit to the farm down, and now I'm going to swap into the Houndour, or the Poochyena, I should say, and now they have a Bronzong. So this is exactly what we wanted to see. And what's great about Poochyena is Snarl, everyone. Poochyena has access to Snarl. It has Snarl, Crunch, and Poison Fang. And I know you guys are already going, oh yeah, Poochyena is absolutely nasty. Crunch does massive, super effective damage to Bronzor, and it can gain energy so quickly with Snarl, and as you can see, it's resisting the Confusion damage right there because of our Dark typing. Plus, if you face off against Cottony, you have access to Poison Fang, which does double super effective damage, which is just nuts. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can survive this right here. You have to watch out for Heavy Slam, but a Psyshock now coming through, we resist that, which is fantastic. We're gonna overload a bit on energy and go for another Crunch right here. This should be able to take out the Bronzor, and we still have Poison Fang ready to go for that Deino in the back. So we take out the Bronzor, we have Poison Fang ready to go, and that's going to be taking out the Deino. So as we see right there, we brought 2 counters in the back, and we didn't shield, or we lost lead, banking on the fact that maybe they had a Bronzor in the back. All right, let's move into the next one here. So this one we're going to see the Deino now come in. So let's see how this battle goes. Deino, if you guys are going to run it with single move, I'd highly suggest it with Crunch. Otherwise, you won't be able to handle Bronzor. We have it on the lead right here, which is really nice. So Deino has access to Dragon Breath, Body Slam, and Crunch. Body Slam will be resisted because of that Steel typing from the Bronzor right here. But Crunch does so much damage as well. That Dark typing is huge in this matchup, as you guys can see. And then I think we're just going to go ahead and shield right here. Heavy Slam would do quite a bit of neutral damage. So we're going to go ahead and shield, and it was a Heavy Slam, fantastic, and we can actually commit to the farm down. Dragon Breath, even though it is resisted, just does so much raw damage in this meta, and we're able to take that lead right there against a Bronzor. Deino, fantastic counter. We have our own Bronzor in the back as well, and we are going to see the Deino mirror right here. So we're going to go ahead and throw the Crunch, and then we're going to be swapping out, right? We don't want to stay in that matchup, and let's see what we go into. We're going to be going into the Seal right here, start getting ahead on energy, and a Wynut is going to be coming in. Another bulky Pokemon that you guys are you're going to be seeing. Wynaut has access to basically, it's going to be counter and mirror coat. That's all you guys are going to be seeing. But what's great is using Icy Wind is going to be lowering the attack plus lick here on the seal. Is doing super effective damage because of that psychic typing. We're not going to shield right here. We still have our Bronzor, which I think can really handle this end game because there's only a Deino in the back. Hopefully we get to another Icy Wind in time, which we can. This can again do neutral damage. But like I said earlier, if you guys are running the Deino and you're running a single move like I am right now, definitely go for Crunch. You need that for Bronzor. Body Slam is nice against the general meta, but Dragon Breath can handle that, and Crunch just really helps you out against the Bronzor fight. Now we're going to go ahead and swap now into our own Bronzor right here against the Deino, and then basically go for Heavy Slam right here. So as you guys are going to see, we're going to go for Heavy Slam. This is going to do a lot of damage and gets the shield from the Deino, and what we're going to see is what Body Slam does in this matchup, which is great about seeing the reflected side of this matchup. So what we're going to do is we're not going to shield right here. I hope I didn't. I don't think I did. Let it go. Oh, I decided to shield. It was Body Slam. Okay, maybe we'll see another Body Slam. Just show another Body Slam. Okay, here we go. Here's the Body Slam right here. All right. I knew I had this here on the clip. So Body Slam does like no damage, as you guys can see right there, but the Crunch, like we saw at the beginning of the fight, does massive super effective damage. That is why I would recommend running Dragon Breath and Crunch for that specific matchup right there. And then we're going to be able to finish off the Wynaut. I think I just go into the Deino right here, just do some Dragon Breath, and that's going to be a good battle. Alright, moving into the next one. We're going to move into the Fire-type Pokemon here and take a look at what they do or why you guys need to be wary when you're running a Fire-type. So we have Deino on the lead versus Gible. Really positive matchup for us. Solid, solid, solid. Dragon Breath does so much damage. They got to swap out, and they swap out into a Bronzor. So now we're going to bring in the Darumaka right here. Fire Fang does so much damage, as you guys are seeing right here, and this matchup is very, very close. We have to shield charge moves. Psyshock does neutral damage, and it would absolutely chunk, but what we need to do is get to that Flame Charge, because if they decide to let it go through, firstly, it'll take it out. If they decide to shield, then our Fire Fang then is going to be doing even more damage because our attack is boosted. So right there, the Fire-type Pokemon able to handle that, and even if they were to shield right there, we'd probably commit our second shield and just look to completely farm down. Gible's going to be coming back in, which is fine. And then we're going to go ahead and bring in, I believe, the Deino right here and just try to Dragon Breath down. And then we're going to have to shield as well. Gible has access to Mud Shot as a fast move, which is high energy gaining. Also has access to Body Slam and Twister, so I don't want to get hit by a Twister. We're going to go ahead and shield. It was just a Body Slam, but Dragon Breath right here should be able to finish off very, very quickly. And then the final Pokemon is going to be, this is why shields sometimes don't matter in matches. It's going to be a Flying Pikachu. Now I will say right here, the Pikachu is not eligible for the little cup. My opponent just made a mistake right there. Pichu, the pre-evolution or the baby form, is eligible, but Pikachu is not. So that's just going to be a good battle to my opponent right there. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at another Fire-type Pokemon. It's not actually going to be Vulpix. I should have changed the graphic right there, but that's okay. We're going to take a look at Charmander. Now, Vulpix I think is a fantastic pick, and I've recently invested in it. What we're going to see is Charmander in this matchup. Now, what's important about your counter to a Bronzor is you need to be able to line it up, and you need to line it up with as much possible health as you can. Like we saw in the last battle, we had the Darumaka lined up against the Bronzor, full health to full health, fresh fight basically. Maybe Bronzor got 1 or 2 confusions in, but it was pretty much a near fresh fight. In this situation, we're keeping our Bronzor away from the Charmander, and Charmander's health has already been chunked by some charm damage and some lick damage here from the seal. So what we're going to see is basically what Bronzor does to that Charmander at the end game. Right here, we're going for an Icy Wind in this matchup. I believe, what are we facing? Okay, super effective damage against the Bagon. And then we're going to be able to maintain that switch advantage, which is nice because Charm is going to be resisted, and we need to be able to line up Bronzor to the Fire-type Pokemon specifically because of the confusion damage at the end game. So we're going to go ahead and bring in the Cottony here to the Sandshrew. Charm is going to be chunking. I'm anticipating a swap from my opponent. Again, because I know they have Charmander in the back, Bronzor doesn't need to fear fires as much when you know you're going to be investing those shields and just rely on confusion damage endgame. So what you're going to see is we're going to swap right away into Bronzor versus Charmander, and look at how much damage that confusion is doing. It's doing more than Ember possibly could. So all we need to do is safely shield right here. And this is why I said you guys got to be careful and why there's an asterisk on the side with your Fire-type Pokemon, because confusion still does massive, massive damage. Alright, moving into the next battle here, we are going to see the Alolan Diglett here line up against a Bronzor. But what I want to emphasize again to you guys is the same thing with on the opponent side with that Charmander. If you can't specifically line it up in a fresh fight, you're going to have a hard time endgame, and we're going to see that here with the Diglett. But I just wanted to showcase how much damage this Alolan Diglett can do to give you guys an idea of like this thing is actually a great counter if you have some more health. So what we're going to do is we win switch advantage right there, which is really, really nice. And what we're going to see is a Bronzor now come in. So we're going to be able to line up our Diglett right here, Alolan Diglett, which is really awesome because Mud Slap does so much damage right here, as you guys are seeing, but they swap out into Deino, and then what you saw right there is Dragon Breath just does so much damage. Even though our Steel typing right there is going to be resisting Dragon Breath, it just does way too much damage here in the little cup. So Body Slam now coming through, chunks our Seal. I'm going to rely here on the Alolan Diglett, hopefully to win this game for us. We're going to go ahead and go for Icy Wind. This is going to be getting a shield from our opponent because of that Dragon typing, so we do get a shield. Now, I am, in hindsight right here, running Rock Tomb on the Alolan Diglett. Maybe could be running Mud Bomb, or if you decide to run double charge moves, Mud Bomb Rock Tomb is fantastic, and we could potentially win right here. So what you're going to see is look at how much damage that Dragon Breath did. It really added up, and now it puts me behind against that Bronzor, which is why I said you have to take these counters with a grain of salt, because if you're too low on health, it doesn't matter how much fast move you're doing, you're not going to be able to finish off in time. And this is where maybe double Mud Bomb would have helped out, because as you guys can see, we have to shield again right here. But we're basically going to almost take out this Bronzor right here, right there. One more fast move and that would have been a good game. So that Dragon Breath damage really added up. Alright, in this next clip, we're going to take a look at what Drifloon can do to Bronzor. Now, like I said, you guys got to take Drifloon with a grain of salt because it does take quite a bit of damage from Confusion. But if you guys run it with Shadow Ball, it does 50% of Bronzor's health. And what you guys are going to see is me running it without Shadow Ball. I haven't double moved this Pokemon just yet, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. So basically, we safe swap into the Drifloon, and in comes the Bronzor. Hex is a fast move here on Drifloon. It has the same moves as its evolution. It has Hex, Icy Wind, and Shadow Ball. So as you guys are going to see, Icy Winds and Hexes alone are really starting to chunk right here. We can go into double shields as well. I decided actually not to shield right here, but this is just going to show how much damage this thing can do. And if you guys can land a Shadow Ball, it does 50% of its health. That's what I really want to emphasize. And it's making me think maybe running Shadow Ball instead of Icy Wind on the potential safe swap, because look, we're just really chunking right here. We're going to be able to get to another one, and that's basically 70% there of Bronzor's health gone, which is really, really nice considering that we are running resisted damage. So there you go, like 80% of it gone. If we had a Shadow Ball and we were able to land it, basically go back-to-back Shadow Balls, we could have flipped that fight around. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope this was informative. Bronzor is definitely going to be one of the most common Pokemon you guys will be seeing. If you guys thought Azumarill was bad, Bronzor I think is going to be worse. So these are some great counters too. I encourage you guys to head over to pvpoke.com and check out what other options you guys could have that can counter the Bronzor. There's a lot of great dark type Pokemon out there that have access to Bite or Snarl or Feint Attack, something like that that can really do well against Bronzor. But these are some of the Pokemon that I am going to be running. This is the roster that I do have. I have the Deino, the Poochyena, I have Vulpix and Darumaka. I know I didn't show Vulpix today, but I recently invested in it. I have Drifloon, which I'm looking to run with Shadow Ball, considering that I just kind of reflected on what is happening in these situations, and landing a Shadow Ball would be huge, especially when they only have one shield left. And then also that Alolan Diglett I did get as well. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Bronzor. What counters are you guys bringing to it? I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.